Everyone, I'm Lisa Hendrickson, and you are listening to the New Outlook podcast. And this week I have Teresa Cyrus with us, and I think she's going to be joining me as a co-host. I hope. I met
I'm looking
Teresa.
forward to that.
I know, I love it. I met Teresa a couple months ago in a Microsoft Tech Forum. I will tell that story later of how I met her and why, but Teresa and I started talking on LinkedIn, and we built this through social media. We were on a tech forum to help each other, then connected in LinkedIn, and then we started finding some business we could do together. And next thing you know, I was like, we should do a
Yeah,
podcast together, but I already have one. So that works out for me, and it works out for her because she's always wanted to do one.
that was great timing.
Yeah, it was. And everything's just kind of going in place here because I'm working on the new Outlook initiatives and learning and testing and research. So Teresa's doing the front of house and I'm doing back of house. That's how we kind of figured this out. But then before we get going too far, the podcast is intended for IT, MSPs, end users, Microsoft users, whoever wants to learn about new Outlook. So that's where we're going to kick off the show. And Teresa, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself here? And then we'll get going with the podcast today.
Very good. Thank you for having me, Lisa.
There.
Hello, my name is Teresa Cyrus, and I am a MVP. I'm also a certified trainer where I teach a lot of the Microsoft 365 services. I have a YouTube channel, Track Creations 4E, and I also have a website that you can visit that has a lot of resources as well. So MVP second year, actually renewing for the third year that's due tomorrow. So yeah,
Yikes.
yeah, really excited being in my office late nights. I'm getting it all in.
Just grinding. Yeah, we'll
Also,
have another discussion
uh,
about MVP because that's a whole entire podcast on its own, but it's interesting.
I was also going to share that top contributor for Outlook on Tech Community. Again, like Lisa said, that's how we met. Was seeing my name, from helping folks on the front end side of Outlook, and she reached out to me, and I'm glad that you did.
Yeah. Well, we both have different experiences. Why don't you
Right.
tell us about, like, you have some corporate experience, right?
I do. So, back in the corporate world, started out with as a SharePoint analyst, and I got the early retirement package.
Goodbye. We don't need you anymore.
Right, right, right. Yeah, well, the whole IT department got wiped out, but because I was there so long,
Right.
it was a retirement package for me. And they said, hey, my husband asked me, what do you want to do? I said, I just want to train. I
Right.
just want to train. So 3 years ago, started my business, Track Creations 4E. Main reason because I knew that Outlook was going through this transition and I wanted to be there for the end users because I knew that they were going to have a tough time. I'm like one of those folks that's been using Outlooks from day one, right?
Right.
And so I knew it was going to be tough for people wanting to make that shift over, and I wanted to be for those folks. So my YouTube channel has a lot of new Outlook content.
Yeah, and I have
Primary focus.
when I met you, I went and looked and I was like, it's kind of interesting because my YouTubes are more technical, how-to stuff on the with the data and other things, and yours are more the changes that are coming, which there are tons of them that are coming. The
Mm.
features are changing, but like you, there's no set nothing set in stone because frankly, every day they add a new feature or they might change something. So that's why we're kind of like learning in the next 4 years. And even then, it's never going to stop. They're going to keep doing stuff, you
And so,
know.
and that is exactly the reason why I do those videos because a lot of people don't have the time or want or have wanting the effort to actually
Yeah,
stay on top of it. Now, in organizations, they have IT departments that try to stay on top of it, but they're trying to stay on top of
yeah,
everything because we're not seeing just only changes in new Outlook teams, and I mean, everything is shifting
yeah,
in the Microsoft ecosystem. So um, pushing out those monthly updates are usually get big
yeah.
hits.
It's kind of feeling like it's they're changing everything to look and appeal to AI.
Exactly.
I've noticed that too,
That's
and
the
all the
driver.
yeah, you should see the new logo on the personal Microsoft side. I was like, oh, here we go again, another
Mhm.
shift.
Mhm.
Oh, that's great. Well, let's get the show kicked off here with our first topic, which is what I'm going to call insider info. And because Teresa attends things for MSP or sorry, MVPs that we're not privy to, she's allowed to share certain things afterwards. And that's the stuff we want to hear from her, some insider info about New Outlook and things like that. So this week we are going to first start with now, mail merge. So before we talk about mail merge, there's two different ways, in my opinion, that mail merge is discussed. One is the old school office mail merge.
Mhm.
And when I've been seeing this new Outlook mail merge, I'm like, I'm not getting it. But I went and looked and I'm like, that's really just like blind copying people in email. So don't get confused because the way she's going to talk about it is different than I do. Mine is mail merges from the old days of merging out for labels and Avery labels. And this new mail merge is totally different. Why don't you tell us about it?
So with the new mail merge, so they rolled things out in phases. So let me say that first. So what was rolled out in March? A lot of it is where you're going to be able to send out bulk emails, say it's a newsletter out to your distribution list, right? So right now they have when you even open it, you don't see the to line, you don't see the from. It's just going to be recipients, and you just dump your distribution list there because
Yeah.
now people won't see the names, right? That's a big thing. In the past, we would dump the names in the BCCs. So that was the first rollout. Coming soon in August and September, you're going to be able to personalize these emails. So right from Outlook, you're going to be able to say, Dear and Lisa, and based on your distribution list, their first names would come in there. So that's
Wow.
coming. A lot of people was missing out on that before. I do believe in the past, some people was using mail, Microsoft Word to set everything up and
Yep.
then send it through Outlook, right? So there are some folks are doing that, but that's is what you're going to see going forward. I was a little surprised, like right now, like you said, blind BCC, right? You have one
Yeah.
field, you dump all your emails in there, and it just goes out to everyone. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this new way of sending out bulk
Well,
emails. Think about if you're sending out invitations to a conference, um,
that's true. I didn't think about stuff like that. See, I'm used to
externally,
newsletters.
right? So this is
Yeah.
not about sending emails internally, but think about HR.
Right.
HR does that too. Every year they may want to send a personalized email to you to say,
Right.
complete your benefits by in the date.
Exactly. Well, that's very interesting. I never thought about that because a lot of my clients are the small businesses who don't have the enterprise features and don't have HR departments, and a lot of the listeners of the show are IT, business owners. So that's good for them who
Mhm.
have bigger, you know, larger
Client
enterprise
list.
clients that
Yeah,
might
think
not
about.
know that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so yeah, so I think with the new Outlook, when you go to what is it, the when you open up a new Outlook, there's an option to drop down. You can see the mail merge, and that's where it does that. So I
Right.
found that from, I think, one of your tech forum contributions.
Yeah. They
Very interesting.
the way it is um compose email right before you hit send, go ahead and click mail merge,
Yep.
and it gives you'll see the from you will not see to and from,
Yes.
you will see recipient.
I
And you
did
can
try
easily
it with,
convert it back.
I tested it with three friends. It works. They don't see
Mhm.
each other, nothing like that. So
Mhm.
very
You're
cool.
not
So that's
building
an
somebody
insider.
else's mail merge list with it. That's what I like about it.
Is it what?
Because sometimes you forget not to put the list in the BCCs, and then you push it out, and then
Yeah.
everybody's emails are exposed, right?
Right. Well, I think in another podcast we're going to talk about the limits and all that too. We'll talk about that again because that's a whole big section of a podcast, I think.
Mhm.
So the next topic we're going to talk about is the famous PST files, and I sent the list to Teresa to review, And she wrote a lot of things down that I was like very happy to hear because I consider myself a PST expert. And I know that PSTs are changing with New Outlook. In the beginning, I was fearful it was going to, totally corrupt people, but now it seems like Microsoft is coming along with trying to make it change. But I will always have my note at the end here. So, Teresa, why don't you go ahead and kick off this section here with some notes you have?
So with PSTs, a lot of, from an end user perspective, many of them saying, I am not making that switch over to New Outlook until I have my PSTs. And these are usually really those power users, the IT professionals. Um, I remember
Lawyers.
in the corporate world in old Outlook, I used to export my emails for the year, right? A lot of people use it as a backup. So Microsoft has finally launched a lot of features in this first quarter. I'll just ramble off a few of them. Right now, you are able to import it in, move move it. It's almost like in read-only mode. You can set your categories to it. You can move it to between accounts. So once you import it in, you can now move it into one of your other accounts, which is good. I know a lot of people was looking for that. Right now, there's no calendar and contacts um, functionality when it comes to PST. So if you export it or import your PSTs in, you will not have your calendar or the contacts information. But coming in April, group messages by conversations, because right now all the emails are in their single. So I'm looking forward to that because I don't like my emails that way. I like them in group by messages. And then come May, June, you're going to see a lot of different changes. Adding the folders, you can start interacting with it. My new favorite feature in New Outlook is the profile cards where you click on their profiles and all their information is listed
Okay.
there. That will be available to you. And you will be able to export the entire mailbox from New Outlook
Mm,
to your PST. So by June, you're going to be really in a good spot. And calendar and contacts is also coming in that May preview,
great.
June general availability. So I
Well, let me
was
tell you that this is going to be a
really
hot summer.
excited about that because, some of these diehard IT professionals saying, I am not making the move until I can do everything
Yeah.
with PSTs.
Well, let me tell you that I've been watching the PSTs change, so that's all good. I don't have faith in it 100% yet because a lot of my clients use them for so many different things that it's just kind of a watch it happen. I will have
Mhm,
faith one day. I'm always like with my clients who want to switch over, I'm like, moving to a Microsoft Exchange is your best bet, no
mhm,
matter what. Because
mhm,
also then you get the benefits of the syncing with the phone and all those
mhm,
things. So I have a lot of reasons to sell to my clients the exchange, but I think, Microsoft's trying to make it just like classic in that term. They're trying to add all the things back. And when I say I don't have faith, it's just because I get nervous that
mhm.
someone's going to do something and I'm really protective of that, those
I
PST.
remember a year or so ago, it was a big talk,
Yeah.
among the IT professionals. Some people wanted it and some people say just do away with it,
Yeah.
right? It was a 50-50, you
They can't.
know, yeah, there was
Lawyers.
50-50 folks were saying, just get away from it because they were corrupt and there was more issues. Some people felt like more than what it was worth. But the feedback that Microsoft was receiving is pretty much, I am not making that change until I have PSTs.
Well, you know why? Because legal, they have these PSTs from 20 years ago that have a lot of their data and all their
Mhm,
stuff. And plus, there's a lot of people that have it for other reasons. And it would really seriously crumble Microsoft
mhm,
with the Outlook side if
mhm,
they didn't adapt.
mhm,
So I was happy to see these in your notes today. I was like, good. I knew there's
Mhm.
going to be changes, but still in the end, you're better off migrating it all to Exchange before New Outlook because then you're
Mhm.
all in Exchange and ready to go for the New Outlook. You don't have to worry about,
Mhm.
there's still possibilities of New Outlook not opening, uh, crashing, maybe
Mhm.
having a corruption. And PST backup is still super important. People
Mhm.
seem to forget it. And the PSTs now are in OneDrive by default, and that causes corruption with
Mhm.
the PSTs, and then they break. So
Mhm.
I tell people still go to Exchange, then you're free of all that OneDrive PST and all that stuff anyway. A lot of people,
Mhm.
they know it's time to move on to a new server. So I
Yeah.
come from both sides, but
Yeah.
I'll be happy that that'll all get worked out finally, I think.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I was glad to see. At first, I struggled with how they rolling it out, gradually, right?
Right.
But the fact that they have read only access to PSTs right now, it's great. Um, has quiet some of the noise, not a lot, but
Yeah.
some of the noise, and then by June, this summer we should see a lot more
Okay.
coming.
Good. Well, I have 100 gigs of PSTs from all
Hmm.
my years with my business. So I'm going to test it this week because I already opened it, my
Hmm.
PSTs in New Outlook because I was so happy to see that. It's called storage files, by the way, or
Hmm.
storage data or something like that. And I was happy to see it, but you couldn't do anything. So now I'll get in there
Hmm.
and play this week because I have a new
Hmm.
toy. So hopefully it'll
Hmm.
let me do something. Well, cool. That's great to know. So again, current issues is, oh, sorry. So that's part of our theme that Teresa and I plan on doing is having some inside information. And that can be a lot of the podcasts because PST talk and things like that are real important. And then our next subject is current issues, which we're going to have two different sides of discussion on that because we both do different things. So what do you have this week? Something about OneNote?
Well, I want to talk about the issues with PST. So
Oh,
we just talked about what's coming, right? What I did, because I test before I publish any video, I
okay.
always test these new features, right? Because I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you how it works and I'm going to tell you what the limitations are. And, I was a longtime classic user, so I want to make sure, like my expectation
Right.
with the way it should work, I want to just kind of run through it. So when I was testing the new PSTs, based on Microsoft, the information that they provide you, when you import it into new Outlook, it gives you the Outlook data file in your left
Yeah.
navigation. So again, I just started just testing and testing. So I added the second ODF file, and they both had the exact same name. So when you click, so if you end up adding four different, because instead of me downloading the whole entire mailbox, I focused on a folder, right? So I want this content out of this folder,
Okay.
and it came in as Outlook data file, add the second one, Outlook data file, add the third one. And so now
Hmm.
you have to keep clicking on each one of those accounts so you can see which one it belongs to. So I was like, is this by design? And they did confirm that is by design, but another fellow MVP showed me a different way to
Oh,
actually export your file in Classic, because you have to export in Classic and then
yeah.
import it into New Outlook. So,
Okay.
and Lisa, you probably know that more than me, that you have two ways to export content. One of them is through the left navigation export, and you kind of walk through. And then
Yep.
the other one is when you're actually in Outlook and you click on is it the data file you click on and you choose, and then you can export it that way. And then you're able to rename it. So,
Yeah.
um, even on Microsoft's documentation page, they don't even give you a link, which I'm going to give them that feedback. They don't even give you a link on how to export PSTs from
Yeah.
Classic, because you have to have Classic to be able to get to
Yeah.
your PST files.
You do. So there's a lot of people
So,
that once they're on New Outlook, they're done. They don't
mhm,
care. And so this is for the heavy PST users who it's a data migration. It's going to be a little bit of work for each
mhm,
person, definitely.
mhm. Yeah.
That's
So
how it
that
goes.
one, like, that one caught me by surprise because I was expecting when I exported it
Yeah,
and import that it was going to give me the option to name it, right? So it's
yeah,
very clear to me what it
yep,
is, and that is not the case. And I
mm,
had four versions, four names, Outlook data file.
yeah. Well, you know what? There's going to be lots of changes, and I haven't, in the past couple weeks, I was busy moving, so I haven't even got to really play with it much. So I'll
Mhm.
do that this week.
Yeah.
I might ask you a few questions if I need to. All right, cool. Anything else to add about the PSTs there, or you want to move on
Well, I
to
watched
our?
your video.
Oh yeah.
I was
Well,
on I
that one
was on
is
your channel to watch your video because I'm wondering like, okay, so this is what I know. This is through my testing. What is other people
right.
doing and saying about PST? So your video was very helpful.
Oh, good. I think that video is doing really well on YouTube, and I didn't
Hmm.
think it would, but it hit pretty good for me.
Hmm.
I get a few calls from it. It's
Hmm.
not my top number one call, but I do.
Hmm.
People want to know.
Hmm.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about current issues. You've got a couple things listed here, and I'll add on as you go. Um,
Send to Outlook send to OneNote, while you're in Outlook. So I'm seeing it on Tech Community, on Reddit. I know even within the MVP community, we are really missing the easy visibility
yeah,
to click the button that says send to OneNote.
yeah,
So the first thing is for people who do use it and wondering what happened to it, it is buried. And I
yeah.
do have we can put the link in the description in the comments, but it is buried up under custom actions,
Right.
and now it is become available. But since early March, some people are saying they're not even seeing it in custom actions.
Ooh,
So I keep checking. I don't have a problem. It's still there for
wow.
me. Like I said, I just saw another one on Reddit just last week saying, "Where is it? I don't see what you see." And even comments on my YouTube channel. So we brought that to Microsoft attention. I did that a month ago at the beginning of March, and I still have not
Yeah.
heard back from them. So hang in there, folks. If you're not seeing, sent to OneNote in your custom actions, it
Okay.
was brought up again. And so hopefully I'll have an answer for you soon. And then the other thing is that they are retiring me at OneNote functionality. I didn't even
Okay.
know that that was a feature, but on the social media platforms, they're really disappointed to see Microsoft
Really?
to retire that feature because, in your email, you type in, it's like a at mention, right? Me at
Yeah.
OneNote, and it automatically goes to OneNote.
Oh, and I didn't know that. I have not
Mm-hmm.
used OneNote in a really long time because it was never
Hmm.
how I wanted to manage my
Oh.
my thing. So even though, get this, I fix a lot of OneNote issues because I can still repair it and I know how it all
Hmm.
works. But my call volume has gone down way, way much since probably the pandemic. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I did do some videos and some articles on, sorry, I think I did articles on OneNote is missing in New Outlook and it is in the custom actions. But let me tell folks that if you are using home version OneNote or
Hmm.
personal, this might not ever work for you. You have to get
Hmm.
up to the Business 365 because that happened to Teams with Outlook. You could
Hmm.
not use the Teams plugin unless you had the business side.
Yeah.
Home personal does not work. So that's a tip for people that if they have home and personal with OneNote, which a lot of
And
people do.
I just saw in the admin center that the OneNote is retiring come
I know.
October. Only reason I think another day because the same as my husband's. October the 14th, 2025. They are really encouraging people to make that switch now. Don't wait
Where are we switching to
until
what? Planner?
October.
But what are people switching to?
They're going to have to switch to the online version, the Microsoft 365 subscription.
Oh, you're talking about the desktop app is going away.
Right. Not
That's,
the
yeah.
desktop. No, you were talking about the OneNote for personal, the Windows 10 version.
Okay.
That's what's
That's
retired.
the one that works. Yeah, we learned that years ago when there was a big issue. We're still fiercely trying to find the desktop app that was the old one that worked. That was it.
Mhm.
Well, you know what? Everything's going to change, folks. I think the
Mhm.
vision of Microsoft is to not even have desktop apps in the future. I think they want you to have links on your desktop that maybe go to the cloud stuff. And then eventually we're going to have Windows 365 for everybody. You log into your computer and you're in the cloud 100%. Now, that's for folks that want to be in the Microsoft, world. It works for them, but there's other worlds to use. It's not as popular, but that's their goal, I think, is to move everything, logins and everything to the cloud.
Mhm.
You know what else I heard yesterday?
What's that?
So I don't know how many Windows setups you ever do for people, but I do a lot of them, and they are removing the ability to create a local account in Windows. And that is going to be a game changer because a lot of people don't like it because they don't want to be connected to OneDrive and have personal accounts with Microsoft.
Mm,
They are terminating that. I mean, there's still maybe a bypass, but the bypass is what they're killing. So,
mm. I
and I
see.
do
I
it.
see.
Yeah, that's not stuff you probably work with a lot, but this is stuff I know. So
Uh,
anyway, let's get back on track. I could talk about that forever, probably. Um, the other note you had was something about a shared icon appearing next to accounts in New
yeah. So
Outlook.
again, again, I monitor Reddit. I monitor
Right,
tech community very heavily. Those are the main two places where I see people reporting issues, right?
right.
And you just turned me on to is it Expert Exchange?
Yeah,
And I'm liking that. So, because I like
yeah.
helping people from an end user side. So what got reported was for Outlook.com and Hotmail, they were starting to see like the share icon next to their account
Okay.
without any explanation. And so people were saying, was starting to fear, is my account being shared? Like, do I need to
Oh,
do something? Like, why is it even here? And start
huh.
to investigate it a little bit and come and find out that that is a glitch.
Okay.
That is a glitch. You don't have to worry about anything. So if anybody
Right.
see it, you don't have to worry about anything. Microsoft is looking into what was the root cause? Why did
Right.
it even start to show up? And
Right.
then hopefully by April, they said that you will not see it. So one day
Okay.
you may see it, one day you may not. So
Right.
don't worry, you'll be fine. But I wanted just to share that just in case you have Outlook.com Hotmail users
Right.
watching or listening to the podcast. But it's one day it's going to be here and the next day it's going to be gone.
Well, I love those glitches. Like customer manager. That was that was a customer glitch. That was a glitch that no one liked.
Yeah.
It was terrible for. Do you remember those old days?
No,
BTM.
if anything was broken like to that point behind the end, I'm calling the IT department.
Right.
Lisa, can you get this fixed? Lisa, I
We
don't know
were
what's going
troubleshooting.
on.
You had a different world
Can
back
you
then.
can you take care of this? Now, if
Oh
you come to
man.
me and say, "Hey, Teresa, can you show me how?" I got you covered.
You're the how-to girl. That's right. Well, cool. So we're gonna have some notes in the comments also in the for the show notes there on the podcast and YouTube, so you can click on all that to find out stuff we've been talking about. Now I'm gonna take this one here to start. So feature changes, classic Outlook versus new Outlook. So a lot of people are very interested in knowing the differences. So in my opinion, right now there's things that are currently not working that hopefully will in time. Some things will never work. It's just how it is. You got to move on in life. And then there's things with the new Outlook that Classic did not have. So we
Right.
kind of have a lot of learning here to do. So I am actually going to be presenting for the Microsoft Speakers Hub that Teresa invited me to be a presenter
Mhm.
this week. So I will put that in the notes here too. You can join and listen up. I'm going to be covering this session what doesn't convert right now, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe it will, but right now as of today.
Mm-hmm.
So in a month, it could be not even mattering, but it doesn't matter, but whatever. But the one thing I want to say is like, an example is quick parts that are local in Outlook. They won't move over. You're going to have to remake. I don't think quick parts is even into Outlook yet.
It's not. It's on,
Nope.
but that is the one feature that I truly missed. So
Yep.
I've been using New Outlook for three
Yeah.
years, right? And I don't even open up Classic anymore. I used to go back and forth,
Yeah.
but I'm was going to talk about that a little bit later. But um, I miss my quick parts. The good news
Mhm.
is it is on the roadmap.
Nice. Well, I mean, really what they are is like templates now. So it's just you gotta change how you do stuff. I mean, there's really not much difference. I
Oh
just,
no, that my template is not quick parts at all, not even
oh,
close to it. The biggest issue with my templates that's in there right now is it's very small. You're only gonna put
that's
very
true.
limited text. It's only like what, 34 KBs. So if you
Uh,
exceed that size, there's a problem. You can add images in it, links. So it's a waste.
that's
I
true.
don't even use it at all. I need my quick parts.
Well, maybe we'll talk about backing up quick parts. Well, anyway, there's just a lot of things. So in the webinar I'll be presenting, I'll talk about the ones I know of, and that was on the list for sure. And that's finally, I'll let you do the pro tip of the week. You can go ahead and explain what that is that you think is good.
So, since it's my first podcast with you, and when you asked me about pro tips, I had so many, I just start to, write them all
Right.
down. But really want to just encourage people. Number one, there's like 31 features in New Outlook that Classic doesn't have. So
Oh,
there are value in New Outlook, right? So a lot of people
yeah,
get caught up in, you know, they think that they're going to go into New Outlook and work the same way they did before.
right.
And Microsoft has made it very clear they're just not redoing Classic. They're thinking about what the next 30 years is going to look like, right? Which is we
Yep.
talked about AI driven. And
Yeah.
so they're building it from scratch. So what I want to say as a pro tip is encourage you to start using it. You can bring up both applications, start to work in it. You'll realize some of the things that you're missing, jump over to Classic, take care of it, but go back
Yeah.
over because new Outlook comes with new workflows and this is going to be our
Yeah.
future. So don't wait till the last hour to make that switch. We do know that Classic is going to be around till 2029.
Yep.
And like I said, right now there are 31 features that's only for new Outlook that Classic doesn't have.
We'll talk about one a week maybe,
Mm-hmm.
because every
I
time
will.
there's gonna be something new. I'll leave that up
Yeah.
to you because you're the insider info.
Yeah. It was so easy for me to jot down
Right.
a lot of the features for the pro tips. But again, I just wanted to kick off with
Oh,
try
nice.
it. Try it again, right? Because
I
before
know.
it says turn on the toggle and try it. So what I'm saying to folks is try it again because it
Yep.
has improved since 2023. 2023 was tough.
Well, there's a lot of features I love about it, and number one is that people who have Gmail can view their contacts and calendars natively in
Mhm.
it without adding
Mhm.
anything. Same with
Mhm.
iCloud. And as a technician who supports this, I'm gonna lose money. But
Mhm.
I'm really happy about this feature because synchronizing in Outlook was kind of challenging for people that have
Mhm.
many, many accounts. This is going to
Mhm.
fix it all, and they don't
Mhm.
cross over. So that was a happy note for me because,
Mhm.
again, new Outlook is going to change my career forever.
Right. Right.
In 4 years, I'm going to be doing something totally different with this, just not fixing and troubleshooting as much.
Mhm.
So,
I will mention as well as, and we'll put it in the comments that Microsoft has a website that lists all their features, what's available, classic and new
Right.
Outlook. But the way they have it based on categories. So
Oh,
every month I look at that list and I have reorganized it to where showing what's available,
right.
based on the availability, what's in development, what's coming, what's
Right.
unsupported. So we'll add that link. It's a
Okay.
free download for that documentation
Nice. I
to
get to
take
add
a
that
look
to
at
my
it.
list. I didn't know about it.
Hmm.
I have a few sites I go to.
Hmm.
But everybody has something to learn. Oops, sorry. Everybody has something to learn
Hmm.
because it's a lot out there.
Hmm.
It's a
Hmm.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And because when I looked at that list, I was like, okay, this is great
uh,
for me. I want to see what's available. If I'm
yeah,
a end user thinking about, transitioning over, what features are unsupported? Let me see
right.
that list because that's going to make me make a decision that, you know what, I don't use PST, so I may consider it. I don't, use this feature, but
Exactly.
I need my quick parts, so I may wait until it's rolled out.
Yeah. I have a handful of clients that just use Exchange only, and that's all they have, and they don't have any problems. They call me
Mhm,
once a year for something different or whatever, but
mhm,
it's kind of simplify and to make your email experience seamless is really move to Exchange, and then everything works pretty good across the
mhm.
board.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, did you want to say something about pinning an email to the top?
Oh,
I
well,
think
that
that's
is,
a
I guess that
feature.
was my pro tip, I guess. So
Okay. Yeah.
pin an email to the top that is available in New Outlook and not in
Gotcha.
Classic. And I actually love this feature because think about in the past, we would flag. And when we would
Yep.
flag, we would actually have to scroll through the inbox
Right.
to find that flag or you filter on the flags,
Right.
right? To get to it. Here, you pin it to the top. It's there for me. If I'm
Yeah.
traveling, I will pin everything that I need to the top. Once my travel is over, I unpin it and file it away. Right now, for me, the big topic is the Microsoft renewal, MVP renewal
Right.
process. So all my emails that come in, you can create a rule for it that anything that come in that says MVP renewal, go ahead and pin it to the top so I know. So for an
Wow.
example, I should have had your emails tap into the top.
I know.
So because think about it, now I don't have to scroll through my
Yeah.
inbox to find these emails. It's something that I know
Right.
that I'm waiting for something for a client. I know that you have a client base of lawyers, for a hot topic, they could create a quick
Yeah.
rule and it's right there in the top waiting for them.
Well, the goal is to have zero inbox, Teresa.
Hmm. I've
That's
never
why
believed in that.
I do it every day. Every day, go to bed at night, no email, wake up in the morning, I have a handful, I manage it all day long.
Do you just move things into another folder just out of sight, out of mind?
No, I keep very few folders. I make a decision if I need to keep it or delete it. And
Mhm,
frankly, I already am like, I delete more now because I'm like, I don't need that again. And the only things I'm saving are things I have to follow up on or I might need. I do have like two folders called business and personal. And I just shove everything in there that has to do with one or the other because it's my only main email. And then later on, like every 6 months, I'll clean that out because it's just
mhm.
clutter. I
I
keep a really thin mailbox and I delete so much more because it's still searchable,
mhm,
and it works great in New Outlook. Search is insanely fast. And my classic Outlook is like choking all the time when I'm trying to search. It like spins and whites out and then it's like no search found. I'm like, it's there.
mhm.
I know
Well,
it
I tell
is.
you, I don't use search as often anymore because I love that profile. So if I know that I'm looking
Oh,
for an email from you,
yeah.
I get to you. I can click anywhere and get to you. And when you open up the just double click on your email address, any files that you sent me, all the messages you sent me, anything if we were communicating on Teams would be
Yep.
there. Um, I love the new profile card. It does not replace search, but it's so much better than search.
Well, that was actually removed in Classic Outlook, I think in 2010.
Mm,
When they went to 13, they took away that history, it was
mm-hmm,
called history, and
mm-hmm,
people loved history because you
mm-hmm.
could find them and it was all their email communications. They
Right.
took that away. So I did
I
see it in New
remember
Outlook.
that.
Yeah,
I remember
I do
that.
see it in New Outlook though, and I loved it. I was like, well, that's kind of nifty,
Hmm.
People
Yeah.
will appreciate that, but we can talk about that in the next show.
Hmm.
So I think we should start to close the show here. Why don't you do a little self-promotion? This is what I call when people can say where to find all your stuff and just follow you on the socials.
I'm everywhere. LinkedIn, I'm heavily in LinkedIn, tech community. I'm actually on Reddit. I've made it easy for everyone. It's
Right.
Teresa. You can find me at Track Creations 4E. And I'm actually on TikTok, not as heavy, but I've been
Right.
exploring that a little bit. Um, you can contact me if you wanting to have some training sessions, be looking for some summer sessions coming up around New Outlook and other
Mhm.
Microsoft 365, and info at trackcreationsfoре.com.
Cool. Well, y'all know where you can find me. My website is callthatgirl.biz and my phone number is 612-865-4475. You can email me, Lisa at callthatgirl.biz. I have if you go to my website, there's a new Outlook resource guide at the top in the navigation bar. Click on that. It has all my recent articles. I haven't done one in a little while because I've been moving and doing some travel, but I'll start up here soon. And then if you go to LinkedIn and search for Lisa Hendrickson, you're going to find my profile there. And I've been posting articles there as well. So you
Mhm.
can follow me or connect with me there. And also, my new Outlook LinkedIn newsletter is doing really well right now. I have
Mhm.
over 500 subscribers in
Mhm.
what, 2 weeks?
No, 1 week.
It's
It,
it's
it's been a
amazing.
week.
It
It's
blew
been a
up.
week.
Like someone's like, this is something fresh. Let's
Mhm.
do it. And I'm finding
Mhm.
people that have joined that aren't even in my networks. We're 2 or 3 people away. And I'm like, how did they hear about this? So
Mhm.
it's kind of fun.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
look forward to doing my newsletters there. And I do a different one than my regular Call That Girl newsletter. Because my regular Call That Girl newsletter is more for my client base of
Mhm.
6,500 people. And I talk about everything. The
Mhm.
New Outlook ones are specific for New Outlook. So
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
excited about it. That was kind of one of those things I learned from one of your MVP friends.
Sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
For me, I push out newsletters on LinkedIn, but I just do it from my profile. I don't,
Right.
it's just something else I just didn't want to manage. So
Yeah.
you're going to get a article, I guess you call it as an article versus a
Okay.
newsletter, but I didn't want to start tracking, my followers and connections as well as now I'm starting to
Right.
follow the newsletter. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
something
just do
fun.
it slightly different.
Yeah, I've been trying to do a different spin on it, and my open rates are really good, and my I love stats,
Mhm.
and
Me too.
the stats are looking really good. So I
Yeah,
was like, maybe LinkedIn is giving me some love because I'm getting some good content out there. Who knows?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
excited
watch
about it.
watch your numbers after the show on April the 3rd.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you didn't
bet.
put that plug that you're gonna actually she's gonna on LinkedIn we have Microsoft Speaker Hub. And every month we have um, an event. We showcase other IT professionals, MVPs, non-MVPs, and Lisa is going to come and talk about New Outlook on April the 3rd, 3 o'clock Eastern time. We
Yay.
are global. The founding members of Microsoft Speaker Hub, they're actually Frank is from Ireland. We have Solomon from the UK, and Dan and I are actually from the US. So it
Yeah,
is a global um,
it's cool.
visibility. So that's going to be great.
So is that recorded so I can show it off in my next newsletter?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
it
I
will.
might do that
It'll
too.
be live, and the replay will be available.
Okay. Well, this week's newsletter is going to have a link to this podcast. And for people to, I'm going to do it Wednesday instead of Thursday. It'll be
Mhm.
a quick one just to have people join in, but then I'll put the recordings for both the next week. So, Perfect. Well, Teresa, this went really good today. I loved
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
have many, many weeks and years of new outlook, so I'm hoping that this keeps going. I don't think we have a schedule yet of how often we want to do it. We're thinking once a week.
Mhm.
We'll have to see what our schedules are like, but we're going to try to be consistent. So any final messages for folks? Otherwise, we're going to close the show.
And I always like to say, now go work your magic.
That's right. Every day is magical in my world.
Yeah, exactly. Now
I'm
go
always,
work your magic.
I'm always having fun. All right, you guys, I will see you in the next show. Bye-bye.